The air was tense. Mona Scott sat behind her glass desk, sharp eyes fixed on the three people standing before her: Kris Frost, Joc, and Jasmine Blue. The walls were lined with awards and framed magazine covers, a silent reminder of who held the power in this room. Mona didn't say a word at first. The silence was louder than any shout. Kris glanced at Joc, who stood with his arms crossed, jaw tight. Jasmine clutched her designer purse like it was a lifeline, her usual confidence shaken. Finally, Mona spoke. "So, the three of you thought you could turn my show into a circus?" Her voice was calm, too calm. That was when they knew they were in real trouble. Kris stepped forward, hands up in surrender. "Mona, I swear we didn't mean for it to go that far. Things just got messy." "Messy?" Mona echoed, raising an eyebrow. "Blackmail, leaked messages, secret recordings. That's not messy. That's sabotage." Joc tried to interject. "We never wanted to hurt the brand. We just got caught up in the drama." "And the money," Mona cut him off. "Let's not forget the money." Jasmine opened her mouth to speak, but Mona held up a hand. "I brought you on this show because I believe you could handle the heat. But instead, you brought fire to my front door." There was a long pause before she continued. "Now I've got sponsors calling me, viewers divided, the network breathing down my neck. And y'all think showing up here with a few sorries is gonna fix this?" No one answered. Mona leaned back in her chair. "You're lucky I didn't cut you off completely, but I'm giving you one shot, just one." Their eyes lit up, hope flickering. "But it's going to cost you." She slid a folder across the desk. Inside was a contract, the number typed in bold across the top: $150,000. All three of you are being fined, $50,000 each. Pay it, sign the agreement, and maybe, just maybe, you can earn your place back on the show. Jasmine looked stunned. 50 grand? "Mona, that's a small price for the damage done." Mona snapped. Kris rubbed his temples. Joc just shook his head, laughing bitterly under his breath. "And just so we're clear," Mona added, "this doesn't wipe the slate clean. The audience still has questions. Trust is broken. You're on thin ice." She stood, signaling the meeting was over. "Think carefully. I'm not in the business of second chances, but I am in the business of ratings." As the trio walked out of the office, the hallway felt colder, empty. They had a choice: pay the fine and return to the fire, or walk away for good. XT, Atlanta, Night, Kris, and Joc sat outside a sleek rooftop lounge overlooking the city lights. Neither spoke for a while. 50 stacks, man, Joc muttered. "That's crazy." "She's got us cornered," Kris replied, "and she knows it." Joc lit a cigar, shaking his head. "We walked into this with our eyes open. We let Jasmine play her little game, and now we're all paying for it." Kris looked away, jaw clenched. "You think she's gonna pay her part?" Joc asked. "Jasmine?" Kris snorted. "She might try to flip this on us. Again." Auntie, Jasmine's apartment. Same night, Jasmine paced in front of her floor-length mirror, the contract from Mona still in her hands. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She ignored it. Buzz. Unknown number. Again. She answered on the third ring. "Hello?" Silence. Then a deep voice spoke. "Time to pay up, Jasmine. No more games." Jasmine's hands trembled as she dropped her phone onto the table. Her heart raced, her mind spinning. That voice, it wasn't Kris. It wasn't Joc. It was someone else. Someone who knew. She picked up the contract from Mona again. $50,000 stared back at her like a curse. How did it all come to this? She had played the game. Smart, ruthless. But now the game was playing her back, and it was unforgiving. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message. "Pay what you owe, or the whole world finds out everything." Attached, a voice note. Her voice, saying things she swore no one would ever hear. Her stomach dropped. Auntie, Car S. Frost's condo. Night, Kris stood at his window, looking out at the glowing skyline. Joc was on the couch, scrolling through his phone. The mood was tense. "She's not gonna pay," Kris said finally. Joc didn't look up. "Then we're screwed." Kris turned around. "She's the one who dragged us into this mess. Leaking texts, playing both sides. She should pay the whole fine." Joc leaned back. "And she's got dirt on both of us. Let's not pretend like we're innocent in this." Kris clenched his jaw. "I never told her to blackmail anybody." "Yeah, but you didn't stop her either." Silence. Then Kris spoke again. "You think Mona's bluffing? About letting us back on the show?" Joc looked up, serious now. "Mona doesn't bluff." And 10T. Mona Scott's office. Next day, Mona paced the floor, reading the latest headlines. Love and hip-hop stars in $150,000 scandal. Jasmine Blue accused of secret blackmail ring. The show was getting heat and traffic. Views were up. Comments were explosive. People were divided. But one thing was clear. Everyone was watching. Her assistant stepped in. All three of them confirmed they'll pay the fine. Mona nodded. "Good, that's step one. And step two? We put them back on the show, but we control the story." And Network Studio, Day. Kris, Joc, and Jasmine sat in separate chairs under harsh lights, each doing confessionals. Kris: "Look, I've made mistakes, but I'm not the villain here. I got caught in the middle of something way bigger than me." Joc: "People love drama, right? Well, here it is, but don't believe everything you hear. Half of y'all couldn't survive 1 week in our shoes." Jasmine: "They want to make me the bad guy. But guess what? I'm still standing. I'm not scared of the truth. Are they?" Each soundbite was a carefully crafted move in Mona's bigger game. The comeback was underway. INT. Jasmine's apartment. Later, Jasmine sat with her laptop open, watching the reactions flood in. Some praised her. "She's a queen for surviving all this." Others dragged her. "She's toxic. Throw her off the show again." She didn't care. As long as they were watching, she was winning. But the messages from the unknown number kept coming. "You still think you're untouchable. This isn't over." She blocked the number. A knock at the door. She froze. Another knock, louder this time. She opened it slowly. A flash drive on the floor. No note, just the drive. She looked up and down the hallway. Empty. She picked it up, heart pounding. Whatever was on that drive, someone wanted her to see it or destroy it. INT. Kris's condo. Same time, Joc poured himself a drink while Kris went through emails. Producer sent over the shoot schedule. Kris said, "We're all back on next week. Separate storylines for now." "Smart," Joc muttered. "God ease the fans back in." Kris paused. "What if Jasmine flips on us again?" "She won't," Joc said. "Not with Mona watching every move. She's out of options." Kris nodded, but the doubt lingered. They were back in the game. But for how long? XT. Mona Scott's PRDUCER set. Night. Mona walked through the set, talking to her assistant. "Get cameras on Jasmine 24/7, she said. "If she slips up, I want it on tape." "What about Kris and Joc? Keep them close. Let this storyline build. Viewers love a redemption arc, until they don't." She smiled, cold, calculating. In her world, everyone was a character, even if they didn't know it yet. Jasmine sat frozen, staring at the flash drive in her hand. Her instincts screamed at her to throw it out, but curiosity and fear got the better of her. She slid it into her laptop. The screen flickered. A video loaded. It was grainy security footage. Jasmine's breath caught in her throat. Kris and Joc, standing outside her apartment, arguing. She better not say anything, Kris was saying. Joc replied, "We're in too deep already. If this goes public, we're all done." She slammed the laptop shut. Someone had been watching her, recording her. This wasn't just a scandal anymore. It was surveillance. She looked around her apartment like the walls had eyes. INT. VH1 studio. Next day, Mona stood at the director's table. watching the rough cut of the upcoming episode. Jasmine's confessional. Kris pacing. Joc laughing through the tension. It was good, real good. Ratings would explode, but there was something off. Mona could feel it. Jasmine was rattled. Paranoid. That meant something was up. She turned to her assistant. Keep an eye on her. If she's hiding something, I want it before the cameras miss it. Auntie. Car as Frost's condo. Morning Kris woke up to this phone buzzing nonstop. Notifications. Mentions. DMs. All the same headline. Anonymous source drops explosive clip. Kris and Joc busted plotting against Jasmine. His heart sank. He opened the video. There it was, the grainy clip from outside Jasmine's apartment. He could hear his voice. Joc's, the tension. It didn't look good. It looked like conspiracy. He called Joc. Yo, you seen this? Yeah, Joc groaned. We're cooked. This has to be Jasmine. Who else would have had this? No way. She's too scared right now. Someone else is pulling the strings. Kris clenched his jaw. We need to find out who before Mona drops us again. Auntie. Jasmine's apartment. Same time Jasmine sat in the dark, phone buzzing with media requests. She hadn't leaked the video. She swore she didn't, but someone wanted to stir the pot. Her instincts told her this wasn't about blackmail anymore. It was about control, power, and someone out there, someone in the shadows, was playing a game bigger than any of them. Auntie. Mona Scott's office. Later, Kris and Joc stood in front of Mona's desk. She looked calm. Too calm. You know what this looks like, right? She said. It's out of context. Kris insisted. I didn't ask for your explanation, she said. I'm asking if you know how bad this is for the brand. Joc spoke up. Mona, we've been loyal to this show. You let us back in. You think we'd be dumb enough to sabotage it? Mona leaned forward. Everyone on this show is replaceable. Don't forget that. She tapped her pen against the desk. Now go fix your public image. Because if you crash again, I won't save you twice. INT. Press EVNT. Evening. The three of them, Kris, Joc, and Jasmine, were placed together on a panel for the show's return promo. Cameras flashed. Questions came rapid fire. Jasmine, do you regret anything? Kris, are the rumors true? Joc, were you really trying to bring Jasmine down? They all danced around the questions, feeding the fire without confirming the flames. The audience loved it. Clicks, views, retweets, just what Mona wanted. INT, backstage. Minutes later, Jasmine pulled Kris aside. You think I leaked that clip? Kris gave her a hard look. You didn't? No, she said firmly. And you better figure out who did before this gets worse. Joc stepped in. If it wasn't her, then who? Jasmine looked at both of them. Maybe someone who wants us off the show for good. Someone inside. NT. Mona's private lounge. Same time Mona watched the live feed backstage. She sipped her drink, her eyes sharp. The tension was better than any script. But her assistant walked in with a tablet. Mona? This just dropped. She looked down. Insider leaks documents. VH1 knew about Jasmine's blackmail all along. Now the fire was reaching her. Her smile faded. She set the glass down. It was getting messy, and now it was personal. NT. Dark room. Unknown location. A figure sat at a laptop, watching all three of them on live feed. Screens open. Emails, footage, audio files. Everything carefully archived. This wasn't about blackmail. This was about control. And the game? It wasn't over. It was just heating up. Mona Scott stood at the head of the conference table, her eyes locked on a slideshow presentation of damage reports, social media backlash, sponsorship threats, tabloid chaos, all tied to one scandal. Kris, Joc, and Jasmine. The board wanted answers. Mona took a deep breath. We already fined them $150,000 total. We've taken public action. The ratings are through the roof. The audience is addicted. An executive leaned forward. And the leaked video? The emails? The insider document dump? Mona didn't flinch. Handled. We're investigating. But until there's proof they stay, this drama is gold. She ended the meeting with a firm nod. Whatever it took to protect her show, she'd do it. INT. Jasmine's apartment. Same time Jasmine sat with her manager, staring at her phone screen. Comments. Hate. Support. Rumors. What now? She asked. Her manager replied, you either disappear quietly or double down. Jasmine exhaled. I'm not built to disappear. She opened Instagram, Hicto Live. I see what y'all saying, but let me tell you something. I didn't start this mess. I was dragged into it, but I won't be dragged down. Thousands joined. Her following surged. She controlled the narrative again. Whatever storm came next, she faced it standing. INT. Recording studio. Night Kris and Joc sat together, recording a podcast episode to clear the air. Kris leaned into the mic. Everyone's got opinions. But facts, those are rare. We got fined $150,000 for a mess we didn't even start. Joc added, we weren't saints, but Jasmine wasn't innocent either. The conversation was raw, honest, strategic. They painted themselves as victims of a smear campaign. And the fans? They ate it up. INT. Mona's office. Later, that night, Mona watched the podcast and Jasmine's live stream simultaneously. They were working overtime to stay relevant. Good. Fear kept them sharp. Paranoia kept them loyal. But she was still rattled. Someone had leaked documents from inside VH1. Someone was playing both sides. She picked up her phone. Get me security. I want every email, every log, every call traced. If I've got a rat in my empire, I want them caught. INT. Dark room. Unknown location. The shadowy figure watched Mona's latest moves with satisfaction. On screen, Jasmine's live, Kris and Joc's podcast, boardroom reports, ratings charts. They typed a single message into a private chat. They're all still dancing. Good. The final play comes next season. INT. Love and Hippie Hopi set. 1 week later, the cameras rolled. Mona sat center stage, ready to address the scandal publicly for a reunion special preview. To everyone watching, she began, what you're about to see is not just a reality show. It's real consequences, real drama, and real redemption. Kris, Joc, and Jasmine were seated beside her. It was tense. Nobody smiled. Mona turned to the trio. You were fined $150,000. You embarrassed the brand, but you've been given a second chance. What do you have to say? Kris spoke first. I messed up, but I owned it. Joc added, we've done the work. We're not the same dudes we were last year. Jasmine looked straight at the camera. People tried to break me, but I'm still here, stronger. The audience roared. Mona gave a satisfied nod. Controversy sold, but comebacks, they made legends. INT. VH1 studio, later cameras cut. Crew clapped. The scene was done. But behind the curtains, tension still simmered. Kris turned to Jasmine. We're not cool, just so you know. She smiled. We don't have to be. We just have to get paid. Joc shook his head. Y'all still extra. They walked off in different directions. INT. Mona's private lounge. Moments later, Mona reviewed footage from the reunion taping. Flawless. Her assistant walked in, holding a report. Found the leak, they whispered. Mona raised an eyebrow. Who? The assistant handed over a name on a piece of paper. Mona stared at it, then smiled. Well, looks like we've got another plotline. INT. Jasmine's apartment. Final scene, Jasmine closed the door behind her. She looked around. Alone again. Her phone buzzed. One message, no name. You survived this round, but next season? You'll owe me. She froze. This wasn't over. She opened her drawer. Inside, a burner phone, a second flash drive, and a list of names. Jasmine smiled to herself. They thought she was done. She was just getting started.